Look, we need to have a serious talk because what I am seeing out there in the financial world right now is getting a little bit embarrassing. I don't take pleasure in saying this, but every time I open social media or look at the average person's financial habits, I see people humiliating themselves. Earlier this week, we talked about how regular people get completely played by the corporate consumer culture, and honestly, it is just unbelievably pathetic how the entire thing actually plays out. People love the ceremony of looking rich, they love going to fancy dinners, they love posting pictures with expensive cocktails on Instagram, they love the pomp and they love the circumstance of a fake wealthy lifestyle, but at the end of the day, they get nothing but financial humiliation. And that is the exact theme of most people's money journeys in their 20s and 30s. They spend all their cash on things that appreciate at 0%. They have no breakthroughs. Come and buy things on credit cards. They have no real savings agreements with themselves. Their bank accounts appear to have absolutely no leverage. Certainly no financial resolutions are made, and no real-life problems are fixed. And that is becoming the defining pattern of the modern consumer, which is honestly a form of financial cuckoldry. Many of my private friends wrote to me and said that it is the most appropriate term right now, because regular people make this big show of how they are going to show up and win big. They think because they got a tiny raise at their corporate job that they are suddenly a big player. The banks and the credit card companies flatter you. They tell you that you are qualified for a platinum card, and you think that means they respect your financial status. Let me tell you, they do not respect you. In reality, they are manipulating you. You get nothing but debt and you walk away thinking you won. The average consumer is a type. They want to be liked by their peers. They are desperate to be liked on social media. They want to be revered by their friends, or at least appear to be revered. So what the big corporations and luxury brands have done, and it is pretty slick, they have figured out how do we deal with a guy who has a fragile ego, specifically a person who needs to be liked and seen as successful. They flatter him. They do the marketing ceremonies. They do the red carpet dramatic visuals and fake praise. They create shopping experiences that look very reverential to your ego. But you then come out of the store thinking you transformed your social status. And remember when I was a complete beginner in Nansending Arshawenselshaen. I just graduated college. I was convinced that if I spent money on premium clothes, I was making a great investment because nobody said to me, "Sir, they have been making these luxury promises for decades. Buying that brand does not make you special. You are not special because you wear a specific logo." It is the exact same trap they have used on millions of other people. Other smart investors would know. This is a trap, but regular people do not see it. And meanwhile, you look at the post-graduation situation for most of my peers. The banks keep expanding their influence economically over your life. They keep expanding your debt while you think you are winning. And people come home posting victory laps with their new leased cars that do not exist in reality. Every single time it happens the exact same way. The fake finance gurus do the same thing, but they do it a little bit differently. They give you just enough attention and kind of vague optimism to keep you emotionally invested, while the system continues doing the exact same thing it was already doing to drain your wealth. They make you think, oh, if I just follow this one simple trick, I might modify my behavior and get rich quick. And that is how the Matrix manages your financial ambition. A little bit of flattery, a little bit of distraction, feed your ego with a nice dinner or a shiny new watch. And then you kind of look the other way while inflation eats your savings. And that way they buy themselves time, they avoid consequences, and the top 1% just gets away with all the wealth. One of the best ways to deal with financial bullies is to recognize how they play the game. They want to make you believe that you have won by consuming their products. You know, there is that famous book by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. One of the principles in it talks about human psychology, or maybe it is from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Or maybe it is the Robert Cialdini book about influence. It has been years since I read those traditional books, but one of them talks about how the best way to get people to do what you want is to make them think it was their idea. And that is something that these consumer brands have marked as a perfect strategy against you. They make you think you convinced yourself to buy that luxury car, when in reality they programmed you to want it, and the average person is not able to distinguish between true respect and corporate manipulation. And that is why it is so effective. Serious wealth builders, who are self-assured and confident and competent, are not impressed because of a fancy dinner. They are not impressed because someone did a parade for them, or because they got a nice compliment on their outfit. Real wealth builders care about what leverage do I have in the market? What are the actual cash flow outcomes? What compounding growth can I achieve that is good for my family and my future? But the broke person only cares about optics. Were the logos on the jacket really big? Did I look big and strong next to my wealthy neighbors? I talked earlier about how most people are living a performative financial life, and I am going to delve into that more deeply right now. Listen to me, because I am about to drop some real numbers. When I started my journey back in Nansending Arsher, I made a commitment to ignore all optics. I drove a beat-up Nansending broken car for 3 years straight. My friends laughed at me when I pulled up to meetings. I lived in an apartment where for a whole year I did not even buy a couch. I sat on a cheap folding chair because I refused to finance furniture at 15% interest. I took every single dollar I could scrape together. We are talking about dollar cost averaging into the market every single 2 weeks, every single payday without fail. I did not care if the market was up. I did not care if the market was crashing down. I just bought the index funds. Specifically, I put my money into VUA and VTI because I understood the mathematical reality of compounding interest. While my peers were busy financing $70,000 trucks, I was quietly building a position that eventually generated $45,600 in passive returns. That is not a fake number to brag. That is the result of holding through the volatility when the market dropped in Yantianishar. And everyone was panicking. When the fake gurus were telling you to sell everything and buy crypto or whatever garbage they were selling, I did not sell a single share. In fact, I doubled down, because the secret that the rich will never tell you is that wealth is bought on the discount. When index funds like VU go down, it is a clearance sale for the smart money. But the ordinary person has their mindset completely backwards. They have a massive cognitive error. They buy when things are high because of FOMO, and they run away screaming when things are low because of fear. They are terrified of temporary paper losses, but they are totally fine with losing 100% of their money on a depreciating car asset. It is complete financial insanity. They think buying a luxury watch is an investment, but they will complain that investing in a financial course or buying a book is too expensive. They refuse to invest in their own financial education, but they are happy to swipe their credit card for a $5,000 vacation. They cannot afford to listen to what I am telling you. You need to change your perspective right now. If you ever want to break the cycle, stop looking at what the crowd is doing. The crowd is broke. The crowd is living paycheck to paycheck. If you follow the crowd, you will end up exactly where they are, stuck in a cubicle at a corporate job until you are 65 years old, anxiously checking your bank balance every month. I chose a different path. I chose the path of ultimate delayed gratification. I chose to look poor while secretly getting rich. And let me tell you that the feeling of having a massive financial runway, the feeling of knowing your index funds are throwing off cash flow every quarter, is 10 times better than the temporary high of wearing an expensive brand. You need to build real leverage. You need to build a real financial superpower, not a performative one. We see the massive financial systems out there. They have the real assets, they have the cash flow, they have the structural power, and you can either choose to be a victim of that system or you can choose to be an owner. When you buy VU, you are becoming a part owner of the top 500 largest companies in the world. You are letting the smartest CEOs work for you while you sleep. That is how you turn the tables on the system. That is how you stop getting played. So where we are going to pick it up in the next video is the exact breakdown of how to structure your bi-weekly budget. I will show you the precise percentage numbers you need to allocate to your investments. If you want to accelerate your freedom, we will look at whether your current saving rate makes you an actual wealth builder or just a performative saver. And I think for most of you, it is going to be a massive wake-up call. Let me know what you think about this strategy. Leave a comment right below this video. Tell me how much you are currently investing every month and what is holding you back. I want to see the real numbers. Do not be shy because we all start from zero. And if you want a much deeper debrief of this entire portfolio breakdown, go check out my personal newsletter where I write down the exact case studies. It is completely free to read. I have absolutely nothing to sell you but a good time and some hard financial truths. You can go to the link and get my deeper analytical dives in writing. It is just me sitting at the computer typing out the raw data for you. It is comprehensive written content rather than these short videos. I appreciate you watching this far. Stick around for the next deep dive video that is popping up on your screen right now. And do not forget to hit that subscribe button so you actually see our weekly uploads. Take care of your money and stop letting the world play you.